Hey Vish, how are you doing?
I'm good, Peter. How are you?
Excellent, can't complain. Listen, I thought Vish, today we're going to pull you into the Guess the Car game so you can lose for a change.
Yes, that's really exciting for me. Let's go.
All right, so looking through the camera, what car do you think this is?
Suzuki Baleno.
You know, you're nearly right, but you're not quite. Let's give you another clue.
Suzuki Starlet.
Nope. Let's give you another clue if you can pan out a bit more, Fani.
Suzuki Starlet Baleno Toyota.
You know what? You're actually 100% correct, because this is in fact a joint venture between Toyota and Suzuki. And the vehicle that we have here, which is the Toyota Starlet, is in fact a Suzuki Baleno.
Wow, how interesting. So Peter, before we drive, maybe we should do a walkthrough. No, I meant a walk around. You can't really.
It's a bit difficult to walk through a car.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's start with the rears. One thing that stood out for me as a standard execution on this Starlet is the LED brake lights.
Yeah, which you mentioned, apart from looking pretty, it's got a practical function.
Absolutely. So on a LED light, it illuminates 15 times quicker than a standard halogen bulb.
From a safety aspect, that's really helpful because touch and quicker awareness for.
Correct. So it's saving you brake distance for the person that's following you.
Yeah, well, hopefully they are actually watching the brake lights and not on their phone.
Well, that's the other thing. So an LED bulb is also nice and bright as well. So a fantastic safety feature, and they also last very long as well. So LEDs typically have a 50,000 hour life cycle.
Versus a bulb, which,
well, who knows?
yeah.
So the execution of the car is evident as we go along the side here. So we can see the diamond cut alloy wheels. You can see the chrome handles, as well as the keyless entry. So if you touch that, it unlocks the vehicle. And then if we move to the front and have a look at the lights over here, Vish, what we see here is we've got fog lights. Then you've got your LED daytime running lights.
And it's a proper strip.
It's a proper strip, so it's not notched. It's a nice seamless
More
strip.
Vegas than anywhere else.
And then on the XR, we have projector beams.
Okay, and I'm sure you're going to explain to me why projector beams are more helpful than normal beams, right?
Yes, of course. So if you've got a hyperbolic lens, you're quite restricted in terms of how long your low beam is allowed to be. So it's normally about 45 meters. With a projector beam, because it's very focal, you're allowed to make that beam actually longer to about 65 meters, which makes a massive difference.
And it doesn't blind everybody oncoming traffic.
Not blinding everybody on oncoming traffic, but it gives you much better visibility at night. There you have the walk around, Vish. I think maybe it's time for us to take a nice test drive in the vehicle.
Let's go drive it and see. Okay, Peter, we are in the Toyota.
Starlet.
Twinkle, twinkle, little starlet. How I wonder where you are at.
Don't end your sentences with a presupposition.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Okay, retake that bit. Okay, so you were asking me earlier, as we were cruising around in this car, there's certain features in this.
Yeah, what are the main features, or what are some must-have features that you want when you're buying a compact vehicle?
Well, in this segment, I think most importantly is an air conditioner that works properly.
Well, how about this? The Starlet doesn't just have an air conditioner, it's got an automatic air conditioner. And there's a distinction that needs to be drawn between a manual aircon and an automatic air conditioner.
Please explain, monsieur.
Well, an automatic air conditioner, you set the cabin temperature. So the temperature coming out of the vents will vary to make sure that it controls the cabin temperature at a consistent temperature. And therein lies a safety feature, because two things. First of all, the body operates optimally at 22 degrees. So we can set it to 22 degrees. If you are colder than 22 degrees, your core temperature tries to recover, which takes energy.
Yes.
If you are hotter than 22 degrees, your core temperature tries to recover, which takes energy.
Which leads to a form of
fatigue
and exhaustion. All right.
Yeah, so on long distance trips, you will fatigue quicker if you're constantly having to make manual adjustments in your air conditioning system to make your temperature comfortable.
I think a lot of people don't realize that. I didn't realize it until now. And going back to features in this segment, for me, one of the biggest ones as an up-and-coming teenager from the 70s is music. And
well, this has got Google Play and Android Auto and Google Play.
Yeah.
Must have on a car these days. Must have.
Yeah. So it seems the dash. Your impressions?
I like it. It's crisp, it's clear, it's got big dials, and it's got a nice color center LCD display as well. So I quite enjoy the display.
So the Starlet as a name, we read up a bit about it.
It's got a bit of history, eh?
Yeah, very interesting. From the 70s, again. From where we're sitting at. But Peter, I mean, for me, one of the biggest features around this car, which I enjoyed, was the space. Because we're not exactly the shortest dwarfs in the automotive industry.
It's got a lot of space. I mean, you put your seating position in the front seat as to how you would normally drive this vehicle, and you were still able to fit
myself
with space to spare behind yourself.
Yeah.
Which is not often you can say that.
Yeah, not in this segment.
Especially not in this segment.
Yeah, we've got roof, you know, you've got decent headroom.
So
as
what enables this vehicle to have such incredible interior cabin space?
I don't know, and you're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell you. So the first thing is it's front wheel drive, and a front wheel drive vehicle traditionally does have more space than a rear wheel drive. So that's the first thing. But the second thing is the rear suspension is a torsion beam suspension. So it's a very uncomplicated, very compact suspension system that now offers you more space at the rear as well. So between the front engine or the front wheel drive configuration and the torsion beam suspension at the rear, you're able to get a lot more space.
You've noticed the boot is quite deep.
Yes.
So you can plunge in at any point in time. Engine, what do you think of it for again, segment related? It's a 1.4 litre.
Well, one of the things I want out of an engine in this segment is I want fuel consumption, and I want an engine that's going to be very cost effective to run. And this little 1.4 unit has proven itself over the years as being uber reliable.
Pardon the pun. Yeah.
And it runs on the smell of an oil rag, literally. So the fuel consumption on this is brilliant. It's not exactly the most perky performer, but that's not what this car is designed for.
No, it's not. But I presume this will jump into the Uber segment.
I think that you're right. I think that this is going to be a fantastic vehicle for the Uber type driver because it is an economical car to drive. It comes in at a great price point. And that space.
And that space. Yeah, of course, you can carry three passengers or two drunk passengers, depending on what they're doing, quite comfortably. So, yes, very entertaining vehicle.
Okay, Vish, so that was quite an interesting test drive. What are your overall impressions of the vehicle?
Solidly built, good space. I expected far less. I could fit comfortably. I could easily drive this car long distance. Good space in the back, good boot. Overall, I like it.
Yeah, I must admit, when I first saw this on paper, I had my reservations, but having experienced the vehicle for myself, I've got to say I'm very, very impressed. I think the standard execution is great for a car in this price range. I think it's a solid performer, and I think that people really need to do themselves a favor, get down to their Toyota dealership to go and experience this car for themselves. But now the $1 million question is obviously, what is your overall rating from 1 to 10?
Whew. I think I would give this a 6.75, which would take it up to 7 for this segment.
All right, I'm going to score it a little bit higher because it exceeded any of my expectations, so I'm going to give this an 8.
Okay, there you have it. Stay tuned to Let's Talk Automotive.
And see you for the next review of our next vehicle.